we have to create the ID for each and every card that is dynamically generating. So to do that, let's go back to the JavaScript function that we created by our own last week, and if we can give the ID to this element dynamically, that will solve almost all of our problems for now. Alright, so now we have to find how many cards that are actually present in our container. So to do that, I will be using some JavaScript inbuilt functions called document.query select all, and here I want to find all the elements that are having the class called card. Because we are using a template like this, so every time you add a template, the card function will be the first one that you are able to find. So I want to do this, find this one, and I will add the length function to convert these numbers to convert this result into the number. And this one returns the data in an integer format like 0, 1, 2, 3. So here let's take the another variable called next card ID, which is nothing but your current get card count plus 1, because we want to keep incrementing the card IDs, so we have to add 1 for each and every time we call this function. And now use the backtick and you use the two plus symbols, and in between the plus symbol you just write your next card ID value, and I also added an alert to see what is the value that I'm currently having, and I'll be adding 1 to it. So every time I call this function, I get an alert with the current number. So let's see with this one. I just refresh this one and I click on this and I get the value as 2. That means I already have one element in this container, so I added one more, so my next ID is 2. So when I click on again, it gets added one more and it gets 3. So this process keeps going on and on until you stop doing it. So let's test the same thing in this one, because we call the same function in this method too. Perfect. So now we have the next one that is going to add in the container will be the card that is having an ID of 5. So we have 4 in our container already, and the 5th one just got added. Great. So with this we are almost close to our final target. However, here I want to give an ID to this button as well, to make it unique from the buttons that are coming in a template that gets added every single time we click on the buttons. So I don't want the numbers to get added to this ID. Instead, I would like to have the ID something like ptn hyphen backtick. I add 2 plus, and here I will be adding the ID next card ID, and also here I'll just add the small string called image hyphen ID, and I'll be commenting this one because we already tested this one and it is working great. Alright, so let's refresh this page and we do a test. We click on inspect, we go to the right click and go to the inspect, and now you go to this small cursor right here and you move your cursor to the newly created card. So when you click on this card, this code get highlighted. So if you see here, the image source is the test which we entered in the input field, and the ID is image-2. That means whatever the number that we are getting from the document, it is getting added to the string. And let's see for the same, if the same thing is turn for the button. And let's see if the same thing has been repeated for the button as well. So we extend this card body and we go to the button and we see this is as btn-2, which is a really good thing. So we're in the right track of our progress. Alright, so now you're good to go with the templates and you finally added your ID. So without any delay, let's bring the TensorFlow.js. To do that, go to the search and type TensorFlow.js CDN. And you go on the setup and you can use the script tag to load this one, which we are interested in is only by using the script tags. So you go back to your code and just before you add the JavaScript code and everything, you added some JavaScript libraries just like this one. Just below this one, add it, and if you go a little down, you will see some documentation related to how you can use this TensorFlow.js on different web technologies or backend technologies such as Node.js, Yarn, NPM, everything. If you are interested in that, please go ahead, and this is absolutely free. So now we are interested in searching for mobile net API.